Hi everyone, it's your Simmer. So we're here on Return to Whitefish Part 7, which is part of the Marias Pass RBJets series. Scenario 30 out of 36. Just outside your pickup in Red Eagle, you'll have another in Belton. Then stop for an eastbound freight in Coram, 35 minutes. Right, as soon as the small freight bound for Essex passes, you can proceed to Belton for a load of center beam stock. Alright, so we're waiting. At this point, here he comes. Obviously we'll be waiting for our signal, but then we've got almost 7 miles to go to get to Belton. If you remember last time, we've got a pretty good length train. We picked up these logs in the last scenario. So looks like he's not terribly long, so that's a good thing. But I was going to say we're going to spend a minute or two of our 35 minutes just waiting. Let's see, so we're going to go via Belton East, then via Belton. We're going to stop. Here. I messed that up last time. And then we're going to grab, looks like 4 cars off of a lead, and then go to Coram as it's set and hold. Alright, so it looks like a switcher just moving some stuff along. So should be able to set ourselves forward, clear ourselves. I'm sure this will switch shortly. Maybe. There we go. Alright. So, go 45. So, we will head through as quickly as we can. Let's see, we'll increase the power a bit more. See, the RPMs are still going up. Alright, so that's about 75% power there. We're going downhill, so I do need to kind of be aware of that, because obviously that will affect our ability to slow down. I do like the fact that RBJets seems to kind of leave things go. Fuel has decreased from what we had in the last scenario. So there's some realistic modeling that way. But just not sure if we're going to get to stick at 45 the whole way, or if something's going to change. Alright, coming up on 35. A little bit of an S-curve here. Now that is just a weird little piece of water sticking out there. But we've got to put up a little bit of a bridge just for that. So that seems a bit of a waste, but given all the problems out west that are occurring with water right now, probably eliminating even a little bit of water like that is probably ill-advised. Probably want to just let the water do what the water needs to do. So this is another one of those single track sections, so obviously we're regularly waiting for the other direction's train to come through. Just as we were waiting, there may be someone on the other end waiting for us to come out of this, which once again is why it's helpful to Gonna go as quickly as we can. So let's see. Alright, 13 speeds us up. 0 slows us down pretty quick. But we are getting closer to whitefish, that's for sure. But I think there's several yard work scenarios in between. I think we've got one more, just kind of straight, keep moving along, grabbing a little bit maybe, but where mainly the focus is on returning and going down the line. So there's one more of those, which I think might be the last one in this scenario, so at least that is called return to whitefish. So I guess we'll worry about that as we get there. Alright, so that's 40. So we'll let it slow down. It's not doing a good job of that, so we'll help it. So I was going to say, we're going to hit 40 before we know it. There's the sign. But yeah, I'm just not sure if all the way to Belton East is going to be single track or not. I guess it ultimately doesn't matter. We just drive where we're being asked to drive. Try to maintain our speed a bit so that we can get there in a timely manner, but don't beat ourselves up too much about it. Okay, 37.5. Alright, that signal switched to red, which you would expect once we entered the block. But yeah, definitely a bit of a tight squeeze here again. Oh, we got a tunnel, so it's going to jump us down into the cab, and then when we're out, it'll put us back out. Very short. Might be another one that comes up quickly, but who knows? So now we're right there with the river. Just a couple scenarios ago, we were way up above the river. So we have finally come down to the valley floor. So let's see, 0.2 or 25% gets me acceleration, but not a crazy amount, so this is actually not bad. Nope, now we're going down to 0% grade though, because then it will start to speed up quite a bit. So let me back that off. Service road down from the main road to get down here in case we need to do any work. Blinking yellow, so I'm assuming we need to be cautious. And now it's red, no more blinking. Alright, another tunnel. I'm guessing this one's not. Well, not sure. It's like I can't see the tracks on the other side. Do we, like, fully go through that mountain? We may. So, this may be a bit of a long one. I think I see the end over there. But yeah, this certainly makes more sense than trying to go around the point there that was there. time we get out of the tunnel, we might be down to 2 miles to our via point. And there we go. Exit of the tunnel coming up. Another 0.05 miles or so. Alright, back out at the high view. And continue going through the tight river valley. And just moving along with the river and the road. Alright, let me go up to 25 again. This might be a bit much, because again, we are accelerating. The road up above is really climbing. Doesn't bode well for us staying flat. Another tunnel. Looks like again we'll go through somewhere, you know, as opposed to just a little segment. Well, maybe not, because I think the river goes around there. River's obviously not going through a tunnel, so this may just be a sharper turn than I'm perceiving here, and it'll just be a short little jaunt to get us on the other side of the hill and allow them to not have to dig out a ton of the landscape and support it. Why is it dark like that? There we go. Just, I guess, the sharpness of the turn. I'm pretty sure I'm looking right out the window. Alright, so let me slow this down. 0.78 miles. Another tunnel? I don't remember all these tunnels, but obviously they didn't build them after we went through, so they were clearly here. But this one's a little one. Thinking that'll be it, at least before the via point. Alright, we have to be down to 25, probably because we're changing tracks. So let me get myself down to a reasonable speed here so that it can do what it needs. That should be good enough. So yeah, the bottom signal means the branch on the right is usable, so that's where we're going, I'm sure. Yep. Alright, so 1.25 miles via Belton. And then we have to stop at Belton West. Or stop here at Belton West, right? Stop here, Belton West. But I'm guessing this 1.25 miles is going to be brought to you courtesy of 25 miles an hour. So it'll take a bit. Certainly more than when we were going 45. It does have us going down a 0.6% grade, so let's see, we're stabilizing. It may turn into a bit of a gravity-fed situation where it moves us, but not sure. All right. So that road, so we got a road above us, a road below us. Lots of roads right now. Alright, so there's Belton 2998. Again, then we might have a stop here coming up pretty quickly. Don't know. Whatever that is, it's lengthy. There we go, it finally ended. I guess I should probably look. Alright, so that's straight through. So I was going to say, if we move over, we're going to have to slow down, because that's going to be 15 or whatever. So my guess is we're picking something up on the other end. Alright. Your load has been placed at the west end of the sidings. Clear switch signal and hold at stop here, Belton West. Then hook up. Thanks. Alright. So we've got about a mile to go. Definitely a little busier towns here. But yeah, I'm guessing those center beam cars are ours. So yeah, I'll have to be careful, because I think on the last scenario I was watching the back of the train and I was kind of positioning myself. And just wasn't, I didn't think I was in the right place, but then it didn't give me credit, because then I crept forward. Because yeah, basically we need to stop so that we can then clear this portion here. So, right, so it's not that. So that Belton West 2998 is not where we're at. The stop here, Belton West, which might be that one that's now coming in. Yep, looks like it's starting with an S. And the first word is stop, so that likely is, well, there's not going to be another one here, so. So that is where we want to be. Alright. So yeah, we're going to go through that light. So we've got a little over 0.2 miles. So this is the first part. Alright, so we're going to start slowing down. Getting super, super close here. So we want to slow down, but we want to be where we need to be. So yep, we appear to be clear. So now we need to hold, and I think the problem was I drifted a bit then. Because I was also thinking at that point that I had what I needed, but hey, after hooking to the stock here, proceed to Coram and hold there at Coram West Main. I need to get an eastbound freight through. Okay. We will do that. Alright, so now at this point we do want to go back. Do want to verify. Yep. It has changed. I would think it did, but you never know. So now we're having, you know, the accordion. There we go, bing, bing. It'll probably be 10, so I'll want to be careful. I guess it's 15. So we can go a little bit quicker, but we'll be there before we know it, so we want to be careful. Oops. And then the question is, how far is Coram? Because I don't remember. You know, it's not as if I know this route very, very well. All right. Probably too much. Yep. So need to speed up a bit. Is it moving? Now it is moving. All right. So now we're going to go the other way. Oh wow, Coram's 7 miles away. So again, we've got to get the accordion working in the other direction. So get ourselves up front. I think it was still a ways to Whitefish from Coram, so I'm thinking the next scenario is still not going to be short. These are they're long. There's just, you know, they're quiet. There's not a huge amount going on, and so it's just kind of ready to get them done. I thought that signal would have had us past it, but we're still at 15. Alright, now we can go 25. Which is not terrific, but it's better than 15. So I'm thinking again, we're going to head that way and out around there. We probably have to go past that point to go 6.5 miles. So buckle in, we'll be here for a bit. So yeah, it was interesting how in the first few scenarios, at least on the way out, like, they always made some kind of a joke in the dialogue, and then they didn't on the way back. So I'm wondering if either a certain time frame had passed and they just had forgotten they were doing that, and so they reverted back to something a little more, well, with less of the jokes like that, or they're kind of like we are at this point, like, this is a lot of scenarios and we just want to be done, and so they're just writing the regular thing. But I will say, this is a lot. I kind of knew going into it that 36 might be pushing the envelope a bit. And I wouldn't say it ceased being fun. That's too serious, but you know, it's still fun. Just obviously I have a lot less to say because we're kind of traversing the same kind of thing. We're doing the same things, just moving this train down the route. So there's nothing enlightening I can bring up. Just kind of letting you enjoy the ride along with me is the best I can do. But yeah, we're at the point now here where we're in that section where all the trees are cut and we've got the stumps up there. Alright, go ahead, because I think I've done this before, even at 100% or not. moving that fast. I think it barely gets above 1,000 RPM. So there you go, 1,050. But no, this is actually accelerating pretty well. We are still going uphill. But yeah, it's a long way. But the U.S. is a big country, and out west is a big place of that country, or a big part of that country, so there's miles and miles to cover, that's for sure. Water? Yep. Very reflective lake. Alright, up to 44. Got a signal coming up. Just kind of want to, again, not get mesmerized and get in this hypnotized zone where I cease paying attention to what's happening around me and just keep letting the train go. So I don't know if there's a road out there, but obviously the service road goes in that direction. But obviously we've got a service road running parallel with the tracks too. Alright, we're up to 48. So I'm thinking shortly, go around the bend here or something, we'll be backing off on the throttle because we don't need the speed. Alright, let's see, 25 makes us go up. 13. Because yeah, by the time the RPMs drop, that's kind of going to be the telling factor, because we're going to go down to a couple hundred. Just takes a long time for the engine to back off, obviously. Oh, I guess there you go, 400. But with all that, we're down to 3.5 miles. So it distracted us enough that we got a couple miles under us while we were playing with that. Shrink down because we're now going downhill. So gotta watch some brakes here. But yeah, we got a 0.8% grade. So it's certainly not nothing. All right. So definitely a lot wider space here. You can see we've got, I mean, there's rolling hills for sure, but definitely just able to be moving along quicker, covering that ground. So there's Coram East, main 1, coming up in half a mile, but we need to get to Coram West, main 1. So there you can see we've got a double track again. So I'm sure that's the Coram East position. Whoops. Getting close again. And we've got the yellow. So definitely want to be cautious. But there we go, Coram East. But 2 miles before we get to Coram West, so Coram in and of itself, I'm assuming, is in the middle somewhere. So we've got some houses. Yeah, looks like we've got a little bit of a town. Whoops. Worried about the scenery, not paying attention to my train. Bad engineer. But now it's flattening out. So it might not move along quite as fast. It is still accelerating, however. And some of it, I think, is just, there's 25% of the train is still coming downhill. So I'm sure there's a little bit of pushing with that. Alright, so there's Coram West Main. Because of the speed we're moving, it's visible on our mini-map already, even though we're a mile away. So I kind of need to keep that in perspective. I'm still at basically 3/4 of a mile, and yes, I am moving along, but I'm not going to get there quite as fast as I appear to be, so there we go. Now it's flipped. So a little over half a mile, or under half a mile, I should say. Alright. The speed we've gone through most of the scenarios at, about 30 or 25. Alright. So down to probably 15 before the brakes fully disengage. Yep. We are, in fact, at that point. Just don't know that it's worth speeding up any. Probably not. Alright, so I think we're in good shape here. Oh, don't go too far. Don't go too far. That's pretty close. That was really close. That would have been a big mess if I went through the signal. Alright, so we're here at Coram. Again, we're going to be waiting for a train. Hold tight, guys. That eastbound freight is running a little late. Up next, coming soon, Return to Whitefish Part 8. Alright, does this give us... No, it's combining the distances, but we've... Over the last 3 scenarios, we've done 47 miles, so about 15, 16 miles each. But another one in the books. I'll see you next time.